Hello, myself Sunil Nair, and here basically we are discussing about the topic. In this, basically we have World Bank basically person told that basically we are trying to find out basically why that particular Sunil R Nair is not getting the job. So for that basically he talked lots of things, and then basically currently the talk which is going, that is basically the um, BSE stock exchange. How basically the BSE stock exchange, few people says that 99% money basically that is black money, and which is converted into mutual funds, this that funds and share bazaars, like this. Few people say, and few people says that 99% is white money. So what is right basically, that we are going to discuss later on. And now basically the topic basically is um, future plans. So one person told that basically what is future plan. Then he told that basically future plan means future plan. नहीं means that basically I understand English basically. He told that basically. Then he told that future plan is what? Then he told that future जो होता है that is plan. Means whatever future basically is going to happen, that is supposed to be planned. Then he told that basically future plan means what exactly? Then he told, you basically told that future में जो होने वाला है that is plan. Then he told that no basically the set of group basically who do the plan, ne? They do the plan. So for that basically there is that is a future plan. For their that group basically that is a future plan. So like this basically he told that each and every group basically do the future plan. Then he told that exactly they do the future plan. This Bombay Stock Exchange do the future plan. That 12 lakh crore basically dollar is basically at the certain location basically, that is a future plan basically. Then he told that yes basically that is a future plan. Then he told that basically then he told that for example the particular person basically is making metropolitan city, sorry, metro train basically, and he basically drilled basically few tunnel basically. So how basically is going to check whether that basically land is going to be perfect or not? How basically is going to check? It might possible that land basically from where basically is doing the drilling, it might possible that it might get collapse. Then he told that exactly you are correct. Yeah. So he basically what he has done basically, he found a few expert group basically, and told that basically how many kilometers down basically the metro train basically can be prepared. Then he told that do one thing basically. One person told that basically do one thing, drill basically one half kilometer down. Then he told that okay, basically we had drilled half kilometer down. Then basically how we are going to check basically this half kilometer basically the sand basically is not going to collapse. Then he told that basically do one thing, total basically energy we have created in this world basically, take each and every energy and basically dump near the uh, near the basically the underground area basically where the metro train basically is moving, metro train is going to move, and above of the metropolitan train basically where the each and every road basically are there and the vehicles are going to move, dump that energy into that basically. Let's see basically that land basically gets collapsed or not. And basically one more thing basically, one more, this basically is experiment basically, this is experiment basically. Like this basically he told that basically do one thing, uh, for this basically you can do one thing, drill basically button area half kilometer just now basically was some one person basically told, and he told that basically dump each and every energy near to that particular downside and upside also. Then he told that okay basically we are drilling it and we are dumping the data, that energy basically total energy basically that is basically 1,75,000 city basically which is created. So he told that basically okay we are creating that. Then basically he told that basically, but why you are doing that basically? Then he told that basically if this uh, drill basically which we had done, if that is going to collapse, that basically only one group basically can do, that is the satellite group. So we want to track that basically which satellite group can collapse this, which satellite group basically can collapse this. If they basically collapse, then basically we have to drill a little bit more down basically. Then basically we are going to do the experiment. Like this basically then done the certain level of experiment, and half kilometer was basically collapsed. Like this few, which satellite basically was there, they basically tracked it. Then basically again they done the experiment of 1 kilometer area. Then again drill basically done in certain area, and then again basically the energy basically was dumped into that particular area. If energy was dumped, then basically by default the satellite is going to track that energy. Like this basically each and every experiment basically was done. Then at last basically, yeah, they got one number basically, and like that basically they told that basically, yeah, basically this number would be fine basically for the metro train which is moving underground. Like this basically one of the person told that basically that's very dangerous here. That means basically this basically is experiment or what? Then he told that basically literally basically we have to do the experiment only. How basically we can do this? How basically we can do this? Then he told that sometimes basically the sand gets collapsed also basically from this experiment. Then how basically we can get out from that particular experiment? Then he told that basically for that also basically we can put some energy basically near that particular area basically which is get collapsed, and try to basically soft the sand basically. Then basically he told that basically if the entire sand basically will gets collapsed basically, then basically you are correct here. Then basically he told that basically we need some energy basically, which basically might do some help basically. One person told that basically that experiment will be okay. One person told that that experiment would be okay. Like this basically the people told that basically this experiment is okay. Then he told that that experiment is okay. Like this basically each and every experiment basically which he told that basically that is okay. So here basically the main thing was basically the metropolitan train basically which was going to prepare. They basically told that basically we can't take the risk. So for that basically after preparing the entire metro basically train basically, if any land basically gets collapsed, then basically it will be very difficult basically. So he told that basically let me experiment just now only. So he drilled basically half kilometer, and then basically he told that basically yeah basically the sand jo tha na, that basically get collapsed. So he told that basically we had dumped the entire energy near to that area, near to underground basically that area, and then basically the area in the upside. Then basically the due to that basically the land gets collapsed basically. Due to that collapse, basically the lots of people basically got into it because they were basically doing the work also basically. They were doing the work also basically. That time only basically they, because they want to say that basically here the metropolitan basically train basically which is going to be passed, that time basically the people also would be there. So we have to dump people also. Just see basically how basically the bad experiment people are doing. Bad experiments basically the peoples are basically doing. So one of the person basically told that basically it's very dangerous, yeah. Then he told that exactly it's very dangerous. So like this basically he dumped a few people also basically, and they basically started doing work also basically. At that time exactly basically they dumped the each and every energy basically near to upside and near to downside basically, where the drilling was basically, where the basically drilling was basically do ongoing of that particular metropolitan city, metropolitan train basically. They had drilled up to half kilometer down, and basically they put the energy in upside also and the downside also. Upside also basically the vehicle were moving, and downside basically the people basically, the for example 22 blood group basically people are there in this world. So it's basically possible that in this metropolitan city basically the each and every 22 groups people are going to be taken going to basically travel. So basically they told that basically the metropolitan train basically is also prepared with the help of the 22 blood groups data. So they told that basically we will do one thing, we will put 22 blood groups data basically, that is basically the few peoples basically that are 22 blood groups people basically into that particular tunnel, and let they basically do the work basically. Like this basically they started the work. That time basically the sand got collapsed. Reason was they had dumped the data in downside also and upside also. That time basically the satellite got connected, and the satellite basically which was connected, from that one of the satellite basically it was not able to capture that data basically. Due to some conflict happened, and due to that conflict basically sand got collapsed, and that basically land that basically area basically got collapsed. So like this basically he told that basically Yes, basically, literally, basically that sand literally got collapsed. So one of the basically person basically might be in this basically metro. Basically, the experts are China's, Japanese, Americans, and few Indians basically are basically expert in this basically, and few Arabic basically people basically are expert in this energy side basically because they know the 1,75,000 cities basically energy is already created and what is going to generate also that also they know. So each and every experiment they basically done, and they told that basically we have to track that also basically. For that basically set of energy company basically software basically deployed in that particular area, and then basically track that basically due to which satellite basically that sand basically got collapsed, and that sand basically collapsed to the downside, and the incidents basically happened. So he told that basically this is the thing basically, and like this basically the incidents has happened. So one of the person basically told that basically how basically they can get out from the because the person basically they told that basically the sand is already collapsed, and this was basically experiment that basically the poor people basically who are working under the land basically they might not be knowing that they basically don't know na? So they told that basically yeah basically they don't know basically, but that few people says that basically we was knowing about that for according to that only basically they were prepared. So basically they were informed that basically this type of thing basically might happen, so they were basically literally prepared of that experiment basically. Then because the top level management basically they have to inform each and everything basically to each and every people basically who are working, so they informed also basically. It's not that like that they were not informed. So like this basically the informed people, and basically they were basically under the tunnel. So like this basically things got that the basically this was the experiment basically. Due to the set experiment basically they got into that tunnel. Then there were basically few person told that basically how basically they can get out from the tunnel basically. Then they told that basically if the land has collapsed, then it might possible that the other big incidents basically also might happen. So let me think basically for that basically. Then he told that basically yeah basically you have to think basically because the satellite due to the 1,75,000 the energy which was put in that basically do one thing remove that 1,75,000 energy, so that basically the satellite basically which is moving in around that particular area that will change its direction. After that basically drill that particular area, then basically the sand basically would be in normal position, that would be not soft basically, it would be in normal position. So for that basically how we can contact to satellite group. For that basically the Chinese people are there, Americans are there basically, and the Indian people are basically Aryabhat group is there. So like this basically you can contact to that group basically, and then basically remove that 1,75,000 cities energy from that particular area, because they have literally dumped it. And then basically we few people shows that basically when the sand was collapsed at that time only basically they have washed out that particular 1,75,000 energy basically. Otherwise the people will the group basically who are basically might basically know. So basically like this basically they remove that 1,75,000 cities, and this basically will take time. That's why basically 2 3 days basically they told us basically this will take 2 3 days to execute the this particular plan basically. For that basically 1,75,000 city basically data basically was removed, and they basically literally changed that data, and then basically the satellite also basically attraction take time to remove from that area. Then the satellite attraction also was removed. So like this basically they told that basically okay now basically we can do the task of the saving the people basically who are under the tree. So like this basically few people says that the future plan basically is also prepared like this basically. So he told that basically this is the future plan. Yeah, basically he told that this is the one of the future plan we have just now discussed. And in next basically video basically we are going to discuss a little bit more about the future plan, which basically might contain the BSE stock exchange, software industry, how basically generative software industry is that basically we are the future plan doing, we are the future plan, we are the future. Like this basically January future plans basically we are going to discuss in the next video.